Howdy, everybody, and welcome to Fight Club. Happy Tuesday.
Happy morning.
Happy Tuesday. Here we are.
Oh, wait, there's Jeffy delivering coffee. Thank you.
Oh, good morning.
Oh, yeah, we're live now.
We're 100% live. Let's do it.
I'll shift it. I'm sorry. Bye. Thank you.
Do it. Good morning.
Oh, boy. The camera, the lighting was bad. Okay. Wow. Wheels falling off the bus. Kelvin, cut everything you just heard, please. Try again. And Tay ditched us. Her internet went out, and she's the girl that usually says the intro. So we're going to try this. Welcome to Fight Club for Business. Oh, that feels good. I never get to say that. We are the show for home service, and we are helping you fight for your business. We are a group of industry experts who came together during COVID when we were all struggling in our businesses, and we said, how can we help people? We stay in our lanes. That's what we like to say, in our areas of focus. So we'll be talking about marketing, money, people, and systems today. And we like to mix it up with a guest. So our guest this week is Jeff Rayleigh. I hope I'm saying that right. Am I saying that right?
Yep, that's right. You nailed
Perfect.
it.
Okay, Jeff Rayleigh. And he's joining us from, it sounds like he's in Philly today. So welcome from Philly. If you wouldn't mind sharing with our listeners a little bit about yourself, that would be lovely.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you for having me. Excited to kind of be plugged in here. And there's Tay. Wonderful.
Hey, Tay,
sorry, guys. My computer just took a crash, so it's sitting in my box right now.
we could do third time's a charm. Kelvin, we could cut again. No. No, I think I did it, Tay. I think I did okay. It was good enough. Whatever.
I'm proud of you.
Jeff's about to introduce himself, and then we're going to go back to you, Tay.
That sounds great. Continue on, Jeff. I apologize.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right. So I am the founder and CEO of a company called GROUNDWORK. We're a software tool for all sorts of different types of contractors. Our tool is very specifically built for the sales process. So there's a lot of talk about maybe two aspects of the sales process that we really dive in on, maybe three. We'll see if I can remember them all here as I stack up my responsibilities of bullet points to remember. But one is pre-qualification. Contractors talk a lot about that. The other is, maybe customer convenience or customer experience. And then maybe third is speed to lead. How quickly are you able to get to your leads? This all kind of adds up to a successful sales process. And the way our tool supports all of those things is it allows contractors to get video project walkthroughs from homeowners before a sales appointment. So many contractors might be familiar with the fight of getting photos from a homeowner about their project, and we make that process very easy, and we do one better. We facilitate a video capture and make it really easy and a high-end experience for the customer. Leaves a good taste in their mouth, working with a specific contractor, and then also obviously gives the contractor a whole lot better information to go on and start the sales process. So that's what we do.
Awesome.
Oh, that's exciting. I'm excited to talk about this. Well, thank you for handling the show for me, guys, in the beginning there. I'm very excited to chat with you, Jeff. We're going to handle, I think we're going to talk a lot of sales today instead of marketing, which I'm excited about.
All right.
So those who are new to the show or returning listeners, my name is Taylor Maroney. I co-own a power washing company in South Florida with my husband. I also get to work with these awesome ladies on admin boot camp and also working on something fun in the background as well for another potential business idea. So I feel like we're always saying that on this show, but my background does come from marketing. That's what I love. It's great to be able to help business owners understand those numbers and then be able to make better decisions based upon that. So super excited to be with you all today, and welcome back to Fight Club.
Welcome to Fight Club. I was trying to share on Facebook and then I got distracted. Martha, did you just tell me you're coming to California? Did that just happen? Okay, sorry. That's fine. My name is Megan Likes. I am the founder of Bookkeeping Academy Online. I educate and empower small business owners to know their numbers so that they can live more financially rewarding lives. I do this from California, which is why I get so excited when my friends want to come. I also am the owner of Likes Accounting Company, a full service accounting firm where you can outsource those nasty bookkeeping tasks to me and my team. I own a window cleaning, gutter cleaning company, and I launched a new business last week called Service Ally, where we can build out recurring revenue in your home service business. It's been so fun. The official launch was last Thursday. So still kind of basking in the glory of that. And I'm excited to be back and get to know you a little bit, Jeff. There have been rumors about a landscape lighting business in my house, so this could be perfectly timely.
There you go. There you go.
And hey, Jeff, I'm Michelle Myers, co-owner of Pink Collars. My husband also owns a floor coatings company, which we've chatted about.
Mhm.
And I am thrilled to have you here. I love technology and how it can help streamline that speed to lead. That's going to be my favorite part of talking to you today. And thank you for joining us on Fight Club.
All right. And I'm Martha Woodward. I co-founded a software called Quality Driven, and I work with people on improving their culture, building happier workplaces. So welcome to Fight Club, Jeff. And Tay, let's take it and head into sales, it sounds like.
There we go. I'm operating on my husband's computer, so I apologize to everyone. He has a Microsoft and I'm a Mac girl, so this is not going well.
That's a big shift. That's a big
It is
shift.
a big shift. When you're used to working on Macs, it's very hard to shift back. So I am excited to talk about sales. This is like 2 weeks in a row I get to talk about sales, and we normally don't get to do that in my segment. So I am just like blown away at the fact that you're getting clients to be able to film videos prior to the sales process even starting and submitting those to the company. I mean, that alone, the amount of times I must tell our employees, please take before and after photos, or please take it before video, or just make sure we're getting those photos beforehand and information beforehand for documentation and just security for the business as well. I feel like I'm a broken record. So I need to start there, because how are you able to get these clients to do this? Because I'm sure that's the number one question on everyone's mind. They're just now starting to know, like, and trust the company, and you're getting them to send you immediate content about the job. So let's go ahead and start there, Jeff, because that seems like a really key piece to focus on first.
Yeah. And honestly, when I started the business, this is like a total idea in the garage, type of thing. It's like, hey, what if this is a thing? And that was one of the big question marks, right? Will homeowners play ball? Will they do this?
Right,
and,
absolutely. Like, will they work with us here?
Yeah. Will they play this game? And what we have found is that the way that a contractor kind of pitches the process makes all the difference in the world. In other words, if it's, hey, I need to get this information so I can see if you're worth my time. Obviously, they're not going to say that, but it could sound like that.
Right. No, exactly.
Doesn't go so well. But what we have built into the product and what we have learned is that, when you mention what's in it for the homeowner, it's really pretty easy. Most homeowners want to get service faster. They want to know that the right person's assigned to their project. They want to know a high-level budget number. These are all things that any homeowner in today's immediate gratification type of scenario want. So that's the way that we kind of coach our contractors, and the way that we message the product is, send us a video. We'll send you a quick estimate range, or make sure that the right person is assigned to your project. Yeah, that way we don't have to waste your time or ours, going out there. We just want to make sure that we're aligned. When you pitch it like that, then it's really pretty easy. People get it. It was actually maybe a quicker uptake than I expected from a adoption standpoint. Homeowners, I mean, the truth is they want their stuff fixed, or they want their project done. They don't want you to come to their house.
They do.
They want you to come to the house. They don't want a big long sales pitch. They don't want this and that. Like there are many businesses that are successful with that, dining room close type of mentality, where it's really kind of hard pressed sales tactics, but that's going away pretty quick. So the buying process is shifting greatly. So that's kind of some of the ways that we think about how our product informs the way that consumers want to buy.
Absolutely. So my mind immediately starts to go to, you're right. We are moving out of that dining room process, right? We're not necessarily right immediately in front of the customer. Now, are you seeing a trend of this moving to a lot more virtual sales because you're able to grab on to the information from the client right away?
Sometimes it largely depends on the project.
Okay.
And the contractor type that we're working with. We have, as an example, a cabinet refinishing company in Chicago that does not do a sales appointment at all. So they're selling jobs 100% virtually. So cabinet repaints, cabinet refinish, that's a pretty common one. Some epoxy floor coating contractors will go that route. It's really a balance between, how the complexity of the project and the maybe premium paid on the project.
On the project itself, right?
Just because, sometimes it does take some salesmanship to get a higher end, higher margin type of project sold. And in that case, we play more of a support role instead of a closing role, where we're just quickly building trust, moving things along quicker, building brand equity for the contractor, all of those types of things. And then it's like, oh yeah, clearly this company is worth this premium because they have their stuff together. So that's part of our goal, is to really start that sales process off in a way that is a wow experience for the homeowner.
Absolutely. And that's what I'm seeing that. And we're also seeing that trend, right, of sales starting to move to more virtual, more not wanting the client coming to the home at all.
Yep.
We started to see that a lot with COVID, obviously. But now that younger homeowners, millennials and younger millennials now starting to get into the next generation, are buying homes and getting into that stage of their life. I mean, if my sister were to have to buy a home today, she's not going to want someone to show up at her house. She's very much the type of person that is, I'll do it online, I'll handle it, and you come and do the work. So I can see how this can absolutely fit into that process, right? It's helping her feel more comfortable with I should say my sister and Martha, because Martha's pretty much like, an elder millennial at this point, as we call her.
Love it.
We don't call her an elder millennial, and she's not like your sister. She practically is your sister.
Yeah,
she is.
Everybody's Christmas present, Jeff, was I'm a millennial, just like Tay, because Martha says that probably 100 times whenever we're together. Until she decided she wanted to be a Gen Zer, she's like aging backwards. She's my only friend.
Oh wow, that's impressive.
Jeff, I'm one of those. There's something about I don't want you to come to my house. I mean, it just irritates me to death if I can't, especially if it's very straightforward and dimensions and so forth. Like, just give me a price.
Yeah, and what we've seen is that there's certainly a wide range of behaviors there, but the trend is certainly more virtual than not. I mean, it's you're under a rock if you're not seeing some of those trends. And then, like I said, depends on the complexity. At some point, you want to. I think that what the challenge is in the sales process for contractors is it's been this in-person process for so long. It's just been kind of like when everything looks like a nail when your only tool is a hammer, right? Like that is what we see, right? But we're a different tool in the toolbox. Some contractors would absolutely just make us the only tool that they use, like we were talking about. But for many contractors, it's a mix of depending on the product, the service, what the requests are from the homeowner, all that type of stuff.
Well, I honestly, you're in my realm, you're killing two birds with one stone, right? We're getting that content from the client, the video content, to make sure our sales team is able to make accurate quoting, get the right person in front of them, and make sure we're providing them the correct service that they need. That's, number one, what we're ticking off here on the checkbox. Number two, that I see from my marketing half of my brain, is now we're able to take before images and videos from the client. All our team's required for is making sure we get after images. And now we're really able to create amazing content pieces online that continue to draw in more customers, right? Mm-hmm. And that's something that through one software, we're killing two birds with one stone, which is fantastic, and allowing for the customer to have a better experience, liking and trusting us as a company.
Yep.
So that to me is where we are moving in that direction. It's definitely something that I know we on Fight Club continue to talk about all the time, how we're moving into that virtual era. People are wanting things done a lot easier and not having to have you show up, because it is starting to get outdated. And it's, it's something that out of all the estimates that we do, I would say maybe 10% of them clients do want us to come out and review the property, or we feel as though we need to go out and review the property. So that's something that even for power washing and paver sealing, it's not something that's absolutely required for us to go there. So to see this software be able to supplement and add in that extra missing piece of, now we get to see what they look like. We get to see so for power washing example, we get to see what the pavers look like. We get to see what the home looks like. Is there heavy mold? Is there any damage or anything that we need to be concerned about and talk to the client about? Are we looking at calcium buildups? Are we looking at, different things that we need to look at as a power washing company and know that we're providing them with the correct service? But then from there, making sure that we, execute on that service and then be able to use that content afterwards to bring in more like-minded clients like those that we just talked to. So I absolutely love this. This is fantastic. And it's definitely a different shift in the sales process than what we see right now. And I love it.
And to even level up a little twist on maybe what you're thinking, we have, we're largely a video-based tool. So it's kind of two-way video sharing. And what we have seen is that customers that are, really taking it to the next level, we develop features and things, and lots of times we just see what people do with them. And one of the features that we've seen people really latch onto is providing update videos through the process, or in your case, like
very interesting.
Like sending that back to say, especially with something like power washing, where it's like sometimes the homeowner's not even there, or they head to the store. It's like, and exactly what happens when they get home. They walk around and they point. They do their little inspection, right? So if you give them that inspection report, yourself, you can do that through GROUNDWORK. You can send them a quick video response, which is really cool. So that's something you can do, kind of facilitated in the software. But the other thing that we've seen people do is request video reviews for those before and after. So not even that you the contractor are showing it, but the homeowner is walking through and saying, like, look how happy I am with my new project. This is the end result. Like, wow. So we have some templatized ways to capture that type of information. So pretty interesting what you can do, and that's very much more marketing stuff. And as a product and as a company, we're developing some very interesting things on the marketing side that really tie the business process between marketing and sales together a little bit more, so that it's contractors can even get more lead flow through the system and get people going quicker.
Oh, I love this. Well, I could probably talk to you the rest of the.
I know we'll schedule follow up.
So if you ladies want to jump off, no, I'm just kidding. I will go ahead and actually thank you, because that's incredible, and I absolutely love what you all are doing. You really are, building that bridge more like firmly between sales and marketing. Obviously, we know they're connected, but watching this process develop with you all, it's really starting to intertwine, which is great to see, and allowing the client to be a part of that as well, not just the sales team in the business. So thank you for spending some time with me on marketing/sales here, Jeff. And I'm going to go ahead and pass you off to Megan so y'all can talk some finances.
I was getting really jealous. I was like, geez, she's going to take the whole show. That's what's going to happen here. I'm sitting here thinking, I had two thoughts, which I'm going to start with. The visual sale by Marcus Sheridan. I feel like there's totally a way to this is intended for us to communicate with our clients. But Martha and I played with a product called Video Ask last year. And I think that this engagement of like, let me ask you a quick question and let's have this face-to-face relationship is really cool. And you're doing it in an industry that I think needs it. I want to talk about me. That's what I want to talk about. Right. I have to brag real quick to the ladies. I just got back from a sales conference for Responsicon, and Cassie, guys, she got a gold medal and she got the second hugest hustler award, meaning we issued, yeah, seriously. And Cassie is a graduate of Admin Bootcamp. I'm very proud. So plug for Admin Bootcamp Adventure. But Jeff, I'm going to get this back to you. I promise this is going to be very interesting to you. So I did not do Cassie justice from the stage when she accepted that award. I should have said something and I didn't. I was like shocked and we were so happy and whatever. What I should have said is, in that room of like almost 1,000 users, we don't have any salespeople in our company, and we only have one admin in our company, and we do all of our sales over the phone. And we got second place. Like, you hear of all these home service companies who are like, I have salespeople and I have 3 admins and that, and I'm like, no, I am an automations nerd. I insist on automations because I want to run my company through this one. I'm going to just say badass because she's freaking awesome, through Cassie, right? And so Cassie goes up there and she gets this award, and I wish I had said, I think I'm going to go to Responsive and be like, I need a do-over for our acceptance speech. I wish I had said, like, this is amazing because our clients, we're doing all of this over the phone. Everything's happening over the phone, and she has a hard job because as our ticket's gotten bigger, like, it's a bigger sale. Like, now that's about a $2,200 sale that she's doing over the phone. So I feel like there's a way to incorporate what we're talking about to this. And so I have one more. I'm going to hog a little bit more airspace, and then we're going to get to you, Jeff. So right before we went to Responsive, we did an audit of our follow-up sequence. We did an audit of like our customer experience from the time that they ask for a proposal to the time that they actually book and end up on the calendar. And the one we pulled was 13 days. 13 days from the time they asked for a bid to the time they said, yes, I want the work, and they signed the proposal. 13 days, 17 touches, 17 contacts in those 13 days. Over those 17 touches, the client never asked us to stop. They never thought we were harassing them. They were just busy and needing to be reminded. So my goal at ResponsiveCon is really cool because it's like a hacking area. So my goal was to tighten up that follow-up sequence. Like, how do I build trust? How do I build that relationship to close the deal faster? Because that actually helps the client. The client wanted her windows cleaned, and it took her 13 days to say, you're the company to do it for me. So I feel like I teed you up perfectly because I feel like the product that you're building is something that could tighten up that cycle for me. So can we talk about the economics of that? Can we talk about the importance of not only increasing conversion rate, because we talk about that all the time, but like, think if that was 17 times that the client could have told me to be like, I don't want to reply anymore. They're annoying, or I don't really want to work with them. So talk to me about how Groundwork could help solve that problem.
The problem being that it was
unmuted, so she's like dying over there. Tell me.
Me? I was just wondering how many times it was an actual person, like versus an automation.
Well, so all my automations, including my people, are even automated. So Jill's office called 3 times. Cassie called twice. Then everything else was texts and emails and voicemail. Okay. And she never answered her phone once, and she never replied to a text once. We ended up closing the whole thing via email. The client. Yeah,
I think so. I've got a thought to share, and tell me if that sheds light on anything that you think is valuable.
And I want you to tell me what the process should look like, right? If you have a sales software, like how do we build that relationship faster?
Yeah,
I think video is super compelling. So talk to us about what that should look like.
Here's my thought is that, and it kind of goes to Tay's question. What we have seen, and like our goal is, I have seen, and actually I just had an experience with this. Automations can be great, like they are great, but a lot of times they are very obviously automations from a contractor. So what we have found is that personalization in the automation, in the form of like an actual person's face, skyrockets engagement. And so I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with what you have. I mean, some people just don't want to answer the phone. That's the one thing that I would say is like answering the phone's tough, like especially, I mean, small business owners are different, right? Because contractors kind of have to pick up the phone, right? And in some way, shape, or form.
They don't. They're just allergic to phones. If Michelle would tell you, like
they are.
they might be more allergic to phones than the average person. Martha, like,
They
it
are.
took me a year to get her to answer my calls. She just would like,
Interesting.
yeah.
We have found that it's actually a pretty good avenue.
Well,
and
I
maybe
want to
that's
hear
who
about
we're
this.
targeting.
I want to hear about this ideal experience. Like, so in my head, if I think of Video Ask, and I know you're not Video Ask, but if I think of it, it's like I start with a video and I text it to you, and you send me a video back. Like, is that how this conversation goes? Like,
it is.
What
And
the ideal video experience using Groundwork?
Yeah, I think so what we have seen as the most effective way to do it is to we can embed what we call a welcome video. And the welcome video is just that. It's like, hey, I'm a human being. I am the business owner. And thank you so much for taking the time to, record this video. Here are some instructions on how to do that correctly. And so that sets the tone. Give them some instructions. What's that?
Is it a custom video? Like,
yeah,
I'll never forget the day that Mike McAllowitz, he sent me a video and he had my name written on a whiteboard, and he was like, it was a Giphy in my email of him flagging my name. And you bet your butt I clicked, I want to see what Mike else is talking about me, So is this a custom video, or is this one of our like pre-recorded kind of off the shelf videos?
No, we coach, believe it or not, we get the contractors to create these videos, and we actually encourage selfie style videos. It's very, informal is great. I do think there's a place for like highly formatted, highly edited types of videos, but a simple selfie style video, or you at a job site or something, like that's engaging, that's endearing. So we actually encourage that. We provide a little bit of a script for what that video should be. Under 30 seconds is fine, as long as there's something. So that's what we coach. It sets the tone for the homeowner too. It's like, oh, hey, they did a video, like I'll match that, right? So it's a little bit of a, it's like all these like mental things that you go through. But that's how we start the process. And there's some tweaks and customizations depending on what types of contractors we're working with. But generally, that's like a huge key for us, is getting a contractor to actually put that together, whether it be on what we call the kickoff form on their website as an introduction to the process, or in the actual flow that the homeowner goes through. But that's a key part. Then it just makes people more comfortable to shoot their own video, and really kind of sets the tone for the rest of the interactions.
So what I'm an accountant, so I'm sorry, but what percentage of people reply with a video?
We have about between 60 and 65% last time I checked response rate on videos for people that start the process to complete it. So we liken that.
All mobile?
What's that?
Are you doing it all mobile? Like, is this all via text?
Yep.
That's amazing, guys. If you think about our listeners, if you think about your current open rate, or your current response rate, or the fact that I had to like email, text, and call this woman 17 times, like, think about the money saved if you could get them to reply 60% of the time, first time, and that they would reply with what you needed for a sale on a golden platter. So you could actually help them. I think that's the thing that we always get stuck on with sales. Sales are gross and slimy. And I mean, I think especially as women, like that tends to be harder for us, right? Mm-hmm. But the idea is they called you for a service and you're not helping them until you give them the service, right? So how can we help them faster? How can we help them better? How can we help them sooner? I love this. 60% response rate is exciting.
Yeah.
That
so
makes sense to me though. I don't know. I'm going to interrupt real quick. It's like,
huge.
If you think of like the trust, right, we're building with these clients, like that immediately removes the like fight kind of coming from a client, right? Where they're like, I'm ready to go in guns blazing and fight for my price. Like, no, this homeowner took the time the owner of the business took the time out of their day, or the salesperson, to send you a personalized video that like removes that layer immediately of just like, okay, this is like comfortable now. Like as a customer, I feel comfortable having them talk to me this way and I can see them. You're still getting that visual factor, right? Like there's so many complex pieces to like the psychology behind that, in my opinion. Well, that is
and the
amazing.
Money. And the money. Like if you're a contractor thinking like, I'm not going to do a video, I can't be bothered, I don't have time. And I'm like, you spend all day driving around in a truck, all day. What if you could just stay in your office and get out your phone and do a 30-second video back to back to back? Imagine how many sales appointments you could pull off in a day. And it applies across industries. So at Likes Accounting, I upload a Loom video to welcome or to in my proposals when I'm trying to like build rapport with a client. I'll just remind them because sometimes my proposal takes a couple days to go out. And so I'll just remind them like, hey, this is what we said we were going to do together on this project. And it's going to be awesome. And like that, like me in their face, it just helps. Like, oh yeah, I like her. Oh yeah, I want to work with her. Oh yeah, she's going to help. Right?
You're putting a face to the company.
It's
I mean,
true.
Yeah. I mean, that again, that personal touch is just huge. And I think the downside or the challenge with the kind of standard text stuff, text follow-up without that, it maybe doesn't have a clear enough connection to getting the homeowner to where they want to go. I think that might be part of it, is like, is responding to this text message really going to get me what I want? And I think that's why the video is interesting, because there's just a immediate perception of like, oh yeah, I can send them that, and like we're moving along, like we're going. So I think that's part of it. There's a lot of like, there's one of my sales coaches always told me, you want to keep the prospect should be ahead of you at all times in the sales process. You shouldn't be pulling them along necessarily. If you can get them to lead the process, like you're in a really strong spot. So that's part of what we do, right? We get them to lean in. They say, hey, please help me, with my project,
And I think that's really cool perfect segue for Michelle, because I think you're building a system, right? So this idea of like, this is not just a sales script. This is a sales process that has been tried and true, and that you can create through software, like a framework to lead them through. Before I pass you though, I'm just going to plant the seed. I've already tagged our dear friend, Dom Williams. This can be done in recruiting. Like this should be done in recruiting. For all the listeners out there who are thinking like, I have a less than 50% show up rate for my interview. We should make friends with Jeff and talk him into helping us customize this for that interview process. So I've tagged a bunch of people in this video who I think you should be friends with, Jeff.
Awesome. Thank you.
If you've been tagged, it was on purpose. And I'm going to pass you to Michelle to talk about how you built out this system.
Hey, Jeff, I'm going to let my dork freak flag fly right here, because I want to talk about what's under the hood. A lot of our listeners are probably in their truck or listening, and they're like, another thing I have to add, right? They're falling out of their chairs. They're like, don't add another thing. Tell us how you use Zapier, because we're all Zapier fans. Tell us how you use Zapier to make it really simple for this data to get where it needs to go. Explain kind of the back end for folks that are kind of like, my head's going to blow up from another thing, please.
Yeah. And I'll talk a little bit generally, and then feel free to pin me down on specific stuff, because what I've found is that certain industries have, certain types of software, right? In terms of, and a lot of people call their CRM a CRM, but really it's more of an estimating tool more than anything.
Exactly.
And so we come in and like partner with those estimating tools is probably the best way to look at it. Now, what that means in like general contracting and outdoor living, there are some systems that are Zapier friendly. We are Zapier friendly. Like we are in an integration first type of company, because we understand that, right? Like I've done software and contracting from, huge hospital building projects to, selling small stuff, right? Like we're doing now with contractors that have, smaller ACVs and, so I have a good wide range of understanding. And so we've built it purposely API friendly. So what that looks like is at least the Zapier setup. You can go in and connect GROUNDWORK to, whatever other system that might be Zapier friendly. When the lead comes in, either as we have a kind of a kickoff process where they're just entering their basic contact information. We can create a record in whatever their system you want to at that point. Or we can wait until you get the full video submission, what we call a video lead, into the system to run that integration. That way you have the video file and everything loaded up. So that's like the general flow of things, is like when something happens in Groundwork, at least from a lead creation standpoint, gets duplicated over into the system. Now we are working on more advanced types of integrations with anytime a new file's added and those types of things, because you would be surprised, especially in some trades, it's, well, I want it to look like this. And they send an example picture and, the Pinterest board and all that other stuff. And so I've seen people print out, a Pinterest board and like share it. They're having their phone like this, showing their house, and then they like put the picture.
Hold on.
There you go. That's
exactly.
Yeah. So, it's kind of interesting. And, we take those clues as a way to, make it easier. But we are very much API friendly, realizing that contractors don't necessarily want, another tool if it's not incredibly valuable. So just speaking very candidly, we have some contractors that use our tool only for the capture.
Got it. Okay.
And then they pass it over into their estimating tool. But we do have, I don't even want to call it CRM because it's not quite CRM. It's kind of just like lead collaboration. Quick text message based collaboration with all the video functions that we've been talking about. And that kind of sits on the customer record. Some people don't necessarily use that. They just like to have that initial capture of video from the homeowner. And then we have others that use Groundwork as kind of like their collaboration hub, even well into the project. So I know that's a lot of information, but
no, it's okay.
It's like super flexible is the way we talk about it. And, we think that we provide enough value for contractors to use it in any way, shape, or form based on the way that we price it. So, yeah.
That's beautiful. And for those that didn't understand a lot of that tech, it just means that file is going to go into your CRM or into your job notes or into your place where all of your collected data are for your customer. It doesn't make it hard. You don't have to go chasing and finding those video files, upload them, download them, cross-load them. You don't have to do any of that nonsense. It's going to be where you need it to be. And I think that's the beautiful part about it, is that it just appears.
Yeah. The one thing I'll say is like, we hear a lot of customers that, in the sales process, and as we've refined our sales process, it's kind of like, you pick up these patterns, and we often have a contractor who will say like, oh yeah, I lost that message from the homeowner because, they got a text message on their personal phone and it's like 14 messages deep and it's a random phone number they don't know. And it's like, oh yeah, I think they sent me a picture or something. And talk about like a systems mess, like that is a systems mess. So, even though it is another system potentially, usually what we find is it's just far better than what they're doing currently.
And what it really does is like it brings the humanity all the way back to the sales process, right? The person, you have to see the picture. I was doing some data information with my own team here recently. And I said, unless it has a picture of a human, I don't want to see it. Like I'm drawn to the pictures of people doing the thing, right? I don't want clip art. I don't want memes. I want people. I want to see people's faces doing the thing. And so for me, I think that's what's so beautiful about video is you get to hear their tone and their intonation. You can read a lot about a customer probably before you even show up. Is this person going to be difficult, medium, challenging, awesome? Like, what are you going to do as that connector piece with the, with the customer? That video is going to really tell you so much more than just the data,
It's very true. You can, the same things that you get. It's obviously you don't get the body language and all that stuff usually, but we have had, we hear from customers that they'll tell you their problems. Like I hate this thing, like use those, like the very strong emotional words. And you're like, okay, a good salesperson will take that and run with it all day long. Right. And they'll win at a higher rate. And it's kind of an interesting thing. And again, I didn't necessarily expect that, but hey, that's what we kind of stumbled upon, and it's pretty cool.
That's awesome. Well, it's a good transition point to hand you over to Martha to talk about people. Thanks so much, Jeff. I really appreciate it. I love what you've created here. It's really cool.
Yeah, thank you.
Jeff, I don't want to talk about people. I want to talk about how you could use this in the maid service world. I'm sitting here going, oh my gosh, I can think of so many possibilities. So I didn't say in my intro, I was owner of a maid service for about 13 years. And talk about trust, going into the home. And so I was thinking, now I did try to get my office manager to send back a video. And I was very removed from the business by the time that I did that. So I didn't enforce it like I should have. But I can absolutely see you using this, because way long ago, we all used to do in-home estimates. And the reason that we used to do in-home estimates is we needed to see the amount of dirt build up in their home. We needed to see the number of collectibles, meaning crap, in their home. And we needed to see, what we were dealing with. But along the way, we went to online pricing, and then just the law of averages, it balanced out. So I'm sitting here thinking, oh my gosh, you could have them walk through the home and show you, and then you could say, we'd love to see certain areas that you want us to pay more attention to, or any areas that, are like precious, do not touch. But what you'd get out of that video is you'd get a lady that's like, and then my last person, she never did blah 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 blah, and and you'd be like, red flag, not going there. Or you'd see somebody that's like, oh my gosh, it's a mess, just help me, you'd get a feel for who you want to work with. And then the other thing that I could see really cool is you talked about updates. So a lot of times we'll go in a home and take mold, for example. People want us to magically remove mold in their shower, that the mold's growing under the grout, and so there's a real chance to educate people and say, Mrs. Smith, I just wanted to let you know, we're in here deep cleaning your shower, and this mold here, it's growing under your grout, and we're going to do the best we can to remove it, but it will grow back because it's underneath the grout. And, and so you're doing some education so that they won't be disappointed when they come home. And, talk about a relationship building and a differentiator. We're going to talk, because I can see that with the maid service world, there's a real opportunity there. And I mean, I don't have maid service anymore, but
no, let's definitely talk, because there's so many things to aim at. We've got, it's kind of that's been a challenge. I mean, just for any business, right? It's like, where do you aim, and what decisions do you make with the resources you have to go after this or the other? But I wanted to call back on one thing that you mentioned. What we have found is that sometimes the digital pricing stuff, like that can again feel a little bit robotic. So like if you are doing an estimate from a real estate listing data, I'm guessing that's roughly how you price things in the cleaning world. I think that's how ours got priced, but it's kind of like, okay, that's kind of sterile in a way. So we talk a lot about customer experience and creating that customer experience so that the numbers and kind of the data doesn't feel sterile is just that much more important. But yeah, and the cleaning world, it's so interesting because like the updates, the kind of the process of sharing, hey, this week we focus extra on this thing, and so we didn't get to that thing, but we'll make sure to get it next time. Some of that stuff's super interesting, so we should definitely put our heads together.
Yeah, I think it's really neat. And then when you were talking about, I think it was with Tay, and you were talking about just that whole sales process, I thought to myself, as a consumer, the first thing I would think, and again, I was thinking more maid service or something, but the first thing that I would think is, oh, this company is going to be good to work for, because I want it very seamless, and I don't, I don't want you to. And if they were like, if it was my cabinets or whatever, I think, okay, they're like they're innovative. They're, they're not using like some old, I don't know if painting methods change, but I'm going to feel like you're on top of your game. But and then we didn't even talk about the trust factor as far as with maid service. If we're getting a lot of intel as the owner, we would be getting a lot of intel, because we wouldn't be so much looking at the customer. We'd be looking at that background going, okay, I don't want this home, or most of the time it's not that you don't want it, you just need to factor in, or sometimes it's on their side. It's like, oh my gosh, I mean, that place barely has, they're a minimalist, Yeah. So yeah, that's really cool. So
one of the things on the people factor, and I'm not sure if this ties back into some of what you all might talk about, but one of the things that we've found for contractors is that they're able to structure their teams a little bit differently. Not necessarily, cutting sales staff or anything, but we certainly have had business owners that say, my salesperson left and I actually just paid more attention to the groundwork process, and that, ended up being just as fine as bringing on another salesperson. But what I will also say is that existing salespeople, this is a tool. We definitely see this as a tool for salespeople, not necessarily a replacement. This is another tool in their tool belt to work smarter. Because the fact of the matter is, if you have a sales staff and somebody who's going to run appointments, they don't want to show up and waste their time either. That's a drag, right? That'll get somebody to go pound sand. So, it's an interesting, some of the dynamics and not to mention, people want good tech. They want good tech to be able to do their jobs well. So it can be an attractant as well.
Yeah. I see a fellow maid service owner.
They're all freaking out. Like,
it's great.
We need this.
Yeah.
Next industry, Jeff. Next industry.
Yeah, I guess so.
And Martha's she's an influencer in that space.
And me, I mean, clearly I love tech, and tech and not having to talk on the phone. So, and I lived 100 miles from my business, and needless to say, I didn't want to take a single sales call, but I would do this all day. I would be like, hey, Mrs. Smith, here you're interested in maid service. Can you do a quick walkthrough of your home and point out, and make it, you'd sell the video on what is important to them, because that's the thing on a digital sales process. With maid service, I can speak to. There are people who are like, but they never even saw my house. How do they?
Yep, exactly.
So, we'll talk.
Love it.
Oh, I like this. There's so many good pieces from today too. Like, I mean, we've covered like one software has been able to cover 4 areas that we're talking about, which is something that like anytime that happens, it's one of those things to me where it's like, all right, we got to look deeper into this. Like how many more industries can like add this in and really improve the process. And I don't know. I think the biggest thing for me was hearing how the value build and the trust aspect was so much faster. Like the efficiency in that process to me is something that sometimes takes people so much longer to build, even in person, let alone virtually. So I don't know. That's, to me, Martha, I think like that blows my mind.
Plus, I think of Martha as a customer. Like I remember at Fight Club, we needed a vendor for something. And I was like, okay, guys, I booked a sales call. We were all together. And I'm like, and it's just gonna be like a 20-minute call. And Martha's like, there are a trillion other things I would rather do than sit on a computer with that guy. And I was like, but Martha, we need it. And she's like, yeah, but I don't want it. I don't want to go. And I'm like, but you're doing nothing else. And she's like, yeah, I'm not coming. And she did eventually come, but man, I had to fight her to get her to, she's like, I can't believe we're sitting down for a sales call. But had they sent us a video, she would have watched that all day long.
Yeah. Video. I don't know what it is.
Your time is valuable. That's what it is.
What?
Your time is valuable.
Yeah.
Any person's time is valuable, and that's what it does boil down to at the end of all of it.
You know, and I think maybe what it is that in some ways you feel captured in a sales process. Whereas if I'm passively receiving it and then I can give it back on my terms, maybe it's
is this like Martha wants to control the sale? That's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing Martha wants all control of the sale.
And I'm trying to say Martha's not, I mean, she's special, but she is our customer. Like our customers are like Martha. Like they are moving. And she's a disruptor. I think Martha was there earlier, but I think our customers are absolutely ending up where Martha is. So I love to pick on her. I'm like, this is the Amazon experience. She just wants to buy in the middle of the night and like, yes,
push the button.
Yeah.
Push the button.
Yep. All right.
Okay, Tay, let's go.
Ready for some homework? Awesome. So Jeff, at this point, what we do is we want our listeners to make sure they're putting into action what they hear on the show today. So we are going to go ahead and do some homework. You're more than welcome to add some at the end. And for our listeners, we do just remind you, we only want you to choose one piece of homework. We are about to give you 4 to 5 pieces of homework, and that's a lot to digest in 1 week. So please choose the one that speaks to you the most and make sure we only do that one. If you did want to add on another one, you can absolutely do that after you complete that first one. Last note is if you do need help with anything, we do have our private group on Facebook that we will drop a link in the comments. So you can absolutely feel free to jump in that group, ask questions. We are here for you to help you. So marketing homework is really sales homework, I'm thinking. To me, it's incredible, the automation, obviously, that we're working with here and the value build that we're talking about. Because to me, personally, that's where I think sales is the most important, because we're building that trust with that client and making sure that that client becomes a lifetime client at that point. So I challenge you this week, whether it's, going to look at Groundwork or even just sending a video on your own to your client. I want you to make sure we somehow start to add video into that sales process. It's putting a face to the company. It's putting a face to who they're talking to. It doesn't make them feel as though they're talking to a bot or a robot potentially via text message or via email or via, live chat. All of that can feel as though there's always that kind of like thought in your mind. Am I talking to a real person? Like, is that person actually there? That video solves that, right? We're putting that face, that name, that, human to that sales process virtually. So if you are someone that does virtual estimates, I do recommend this week, either 1, check out Groundwork, or 2, if you want to go ahead and just start adding in a video in that sales process to make sure that we're connecting with our clients on a human level.
I love it. And you stole my homework. I was going to
stole mine too.
Oh, man.
The perks are going first, ladies.
Okay, this is your reminder that you can only do 1 piece of homework. You cannot do all 5. You are not super woman or man. And we want you to implement. Like, don't just consume content that feels like it's kind of a waste of all of our time. But if you put this into action, then that's how we make impact, and that's how you can change your business. So please implement something that you're hearing right now. I'm going to simplify Taze just a little bit because video's scary. And I'm just going to ask you to shorten your cycle. Like, what can you do to get your client to know, like, and trust you sooner so that you can actually help them faster, so you can actually solve their problem? So maybe that's starting with just a selfie text message, or maybe that's just rewriting a couple of your follow-up emails. Shout out to Shiny Sherpa. They helped me at ResponsiCon, adding in just like a few little typos, or like changing the language of my messaging so that, you know, I believe in automations and I believe in systems, but you can humanize that. I think like the extra credit of that homework would be Taze, where you like add in that video component. But that's your homework this week, is take a look at your follow-up process. Is it humanized? Is it you?
I love that. I love that. And my systems homework is for you to go and check out Groundwork's integration page. See if you have a tool there that you're already utilizing, and confirm that Groundwork could be a add-on for your business. So I'm going to put the integrations page in there, and I bet, Jeff, you might be working on new integrations. A lot of software companies are always looking into new things. So if you don't see something that you have, maybe reach out to the folks at Groundwork and see what they can do to help you. So that's your homework, is to see what we can do to connect you.
Real quick on that, we are working with a couple of direct integrations with a company called JobTread and also Company Cam. So if you're familiar with those groups,
awesome.
So like direct, so no Zapier needed.
Beautiful.
So
Company Cam.
We're very happy Company Cam users, and they are very deeply embedded in our system process. Well, in my head they are, like in practice, they are getting more embedded.
Love it.
Okay. And I pulled this book. This is when I sat down to go over our customer life cycle process and our employee life cycle process. I used the same book. That's when I talked to my staff about using video for both sales processes. And again, I was kind of checked out, so I didn't follow through enough, but I recognized then that you could really, but not to this level, not to this level at all, because I didn't have a tool for it, especially to automate it. And maybe that was the problem, is that it wasn't an automated part of our process. And so it got dropped. But I am a big believer in creating that connection without having to pick up the phone or go there, So anyway, it's a cool thing. So my homework's going to be kind of the same. How about this? My homework will be, how can you differentiate in your sales process? And that would be my thing, is that, what would be an attractor that you do things differently that would make them trust you in that process and it make you stand out. So that'll be mine. And Jeff, you want to give homework?
Yes, my homework is, I'll give two small pieces, and hopefully it's not too much to handle. One, check out the website. We've got some stuff on there to, for you to educate yourself. And you can always book a demo with us as well, right from the website. 30 minutes, we're in and out. Try to be very efficient because everybody's busy. And we also have some stuff out there like YouTube and whatnot. So check that out. HelloGroundwork.com is the website. But aside from that, one of the things that I think is an interesting question for somebody who's either on the phones or a business owner who talks to customers. Piece of homework I would give is, if and when you get a potential customer on the phone that you have kind of built some good rapport with, ask them, hey, if I requested a video from you about the project, would that be something you'd be willing to send me? Because it'd probably give us some good information. Just ask them, because I think that breaks down the barrier and helps you understand what that conversation might look like. And my guess is that most of those conversations end with a yes. But I think it's also really important for you to ask that question yourself of customers. So that's something that I would encourage you to do this week.
I love that.
That's good.
Well, Jeff, if someone did want to get into contact with you or your team post-show, what would be the best way for them to reach out to you?
So I will go ahead and give my email address, because I'm on email all the time. So
Wow.
Jeff at Hello Groundwork. And I don't know if this goes out to the universe of people or whatever, but hey, let the email inbox is
Aren't you
open.
brave?
1 to
Brave soul.
2,000 listeners
Yeah,
episode.
So Jeff at hellogroundwork.com is my email address. And the website's a great place to engage with us. You can book a demo. You can see some videos on how the system works, and kind of understand if that's if you want to chat with us. So hellogroundwork.com, lots of stuff there, and look forward to chat with some of you folks.
That's great. Great. And we always end, Jeff, with a quote. And I found one today that I really liked. It's called, "The customer experience is the next competitive battleground." And I think we really covered that today. So I loved Martha's homework about being different, and I love that. So thank you so much for joining us all the way from Philly. We will want you to report back on which is the best Philly cheesesteak. I'm just saying. Just since you're there.
We have plans. So
Oh, okay, good. I want to hear it all. So please
Yeah.
let us know which one is the level best in Philly.
I'll
Okay,
eat
everybody.
cheesesteaks for the next 4 meals then.
Okay, congratulations.
I feel like that's a rite of passage in Philly. Like
It
you
is.
gotta
Yeah,
have
that's right.
to.
Totally is.
And you can run the rocky stairs to make up for it.
Yeah, there you go.
100%.
Like,
There you
100%.
add it to the tour.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great day out there. And thank you
Till
for
next
joining us on Fight
Tuesday.
Club.
Yeah.
Bye,
See you. Thank
everybody.
you.